Hey everyone, this is a brand new episode of the David Seaman Hour. It is Election Day in the United States, so we're going to be talking about that. And if you want to know what I think about this whole thing, which I'm assuming you do since you're listening to my top-rated iTunes podcast, that's actually a nod to the Louis Prothero speech in V for Vendetta, which we're going to talk about also because there are these Guy Fawkes-wearing people all over the world who came out yesterday for the 5th of November protests. But we have Alyssa and Dennis on the line right now. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
Cool. So you guys are up in Tampa right now again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You already vote?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet?
We're getting a late start today.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my absentee ballot to come in. Well, it probably came in. I just have to check the mail. But, yeah, it came to my old residency in Connecticut. So, yeah.
Well, let's play this to get people in the right spirit. Let's play this scene from V for Vendetta. We have Prothero, who is the state-sponsored TV anchor. He's kind of like a Bill O'Reilly. It appears on one of their state-run TV networks, so he gives this little speech.
So, I read that the former United States is so desperate for medical supplies that they have allegedly sent several containers filled with wheat and tobacco. A gesture, they said, of goodwill. You want to know what I think? You're listening to my show, so I will assume you do. I think it's high time we let the colonies know what we really think of them. I think it's payback time for a little tea party they threw for us a few hundred years ago. I say we go down to those docks tonight and dump that crap where everything from the ulcered sphincter of our Serica belongs. Who's with me? Who's bloody with me? Did you like that? USA, ulcered sphincter of our Serica. I mean, what else can you say? It was a country that had everything. Absolutely everything. And now, 20 years later, it's what? The world's biggest leper colony. Why? Godlessness. Let me say that again. Godlessness. It wasn't the war they started. It wasn't the plague they created. It was judgment. No one escapes their past. No one escapes judgment. You think he's not up there? You think he's not watching over this country? How else can you explain it? He tested us, but we came through. We did what we had to do. Islington, Enfield, I was there, I saw it all. Immigrants, Muslims, homosexuals, terrorists, disease-ridden degenerates. They had to go. Strength through unity. Unity through faith. I'm a God-fearing Englishman, and I'm goddamn proud of it.
That's quite enough for that, thank you very much.
All right. So, yeah, that's a great scene.
Yeah, kick it off good like that, yeah.
I didn't realize that the U.S. is on track to start its own plague, but I guess a lot can happen in the next few years. For those one or two listeners out there who don't know what V for Vendetta is, it's a movie with Natalie Portman. And it takes place in a dystopian near future United Kingdom where it's just kind of devolved into a totalitarian police state.
It's a good graphic novel.
Oh yeah, that's true. It started as a graphic novel, right?
Yeah, Alan Moore is the author of that. He's a brilliant guy. He did Watchmen as well. He's done a lot of great things for the comic book world.
Huh.
Yeah.
I thought that Frank Miller did Watchmen, right? He directed the movie version, right?
Yeah. Alan Moore wrote it. He wrote it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So have you guys been following on Twitter over the past 24 hours the back and forth between Obama supporters and Romney supporters?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's mostly completely... what they're saying is just crap. Like if you, if they say something like, if someone says, if you vote for Obama, then your liberties are getting taken away. And then you ask them, hey, do you know anything about the NDAA? Do you think Romney's going to repeal it? And instead of having an educated debate with you, they just start calling you stupid and they get mad at you and block you. So that's pretty much what I've seen on Twitter on both sides. It's just, if you disagree with me, you're stupid and the conversation's over. So it's hard to actually talk to somebody. And
I've noticed it's a lot. It's like a sports team rivalry. It's kind of getting heated, but I like to see the debate between both people and kind of seeing what issues they're going to address. But no one's really addressing the issues. It's always he does this, he does this. It's always a
yeah. There was one thing trending earlier today that was what was it? It was like Mitt Romney will ban, and then you put what the things that Mitt Romney's going to ban. It's like people don't even understand the basics of government. Mitt Romney, if he's elected president, he can't just ban anything he wants. Like,
yeah.
That's not how it works. He's not like class president of your high school,
Yeah.
Right.
It's really silly. Like, people don't seem to understand the very basics of our system. They don't understand that Congress creates laws, not the president.
How about the debate last night? I thought that was kind of interesting with Jill Stein and Gary Johnson.
Oh, I didn't get to watch that, actually, but I saw a lot of good commentary on it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Gary Johnson was getting into it.
He was getting so angry. Someone said he looked drunk, or he sounded drunk, but you know what? He had a lot of good things to say, and I think it's very unfortunate that he doesn't get the airtime he deserves on the more mainstream television, radio, what have you.
Yeah, it's amazing how controlled these debates have been between Obama and Romney, where they don't talk about our massive military presence overseas. They don't talk about the introduction of a multi-billion-dollar spying program that's targeting U.S. citizens on American soil.
Yeah.
It's like these things are just off limit or something, and instead they talk about it was all jobs, the middle class, and gasoline prices,
just general,
which are still important. Which are still important. Like, I definitely I care how much it costs to fill up my car when I go somewhere, but I also care about the fact that there are going to be like 30,000 drones over U.S. skies by the year 2020. I care about those things also, and those things weren't addressed at all in the debates.
No. And I feel like those directly correlate to things like gas prices and stuff like that, because once that is in place, that whole nanny state of control, then they could do whatever they want with gas. Like, then there's no way to even have a conversation about those things. Yeah. Because then it's all closed off.
Yeah, I think with the nanny state thing, even right after Hurricane Sandy hit, people were hoping that Obama could just fix it. And it's like, you can't fix a bunch of homes being obliterated and like people drowning and the subway system being flooded out and all that stuff. He's not Aquaman. He can't fix that shit. The best thing you can do is put a good organizational structure in place so that these local communities have the money they need to rebuild. That's all you can do, and you can make sure that people have food and water and heat until things are fixed. But you can't expect any president overnight to fix things. And part of Obama's problem, I think, is that he gives people these outrageous expectations based on, his charismatic cult of personality. But people think he can do anything, and he can't,
No.
And I think it should be pretty obvious.
And you shouldn't...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I don't understand how people can sit there and listen to him and see how, what he's done over the years, what he hasn't done, and still just fall into his lap and just kiss his feet and think he's the greatest thing to walk the planet. I don't understand, but I guess it just shows a certain level of ignorance. And you dangle something in somebody's face.
I think the whole point is,
they like it.
like you said, the government should have a role to put something in place and have steps and a plan of action. But it isn't the government's role, and that's something where people really want and are in a position where they need the government to take care of them. But that's not the role of government, and it shouldn't be. And in the Constitution, it's not. And we're getting into this point where we're almost, like we're on our knees telling them we need them to take care of us. On that note, I would like to say that Occupy Wall Street is doing a great job, a better job than FEMA and a better job than the Red Cross. And I really appreciate anyone who's out there on the grind supporting it. And, you're doing a great job, and thank you.
Cool. I think that this time around, this has been a really unpopular thing when I've said this, but I honestly believe that a Romney victory would be a little bit better for this country just because people would start to think critically about the policies that we've enacted over the past few years. Romney is not charismatic. He's a Mormon 65-year-old multimillionaire. Doesn't get less charismatic or, celebrity friendly than that. You're not going to see him hanging out with, Katy Perry and Bruce Springsteen. So I think that the press would be a little bit more critical of these policies if they continued under Romney, whereas they're giving Obama a total pass on everything. I mean, you have the New York Times over the past few months has had very positive Obama coverage, and at least every time I've been to their website, negative Romney coverage. And then they came out and officially endorsed Obama. No big surprise there, you know. And then you have MSNBC, where if you turn on one of their evening anchors, and supposedly these are just talk shows, it's not the reflection of the news network, but they are on the news network's channel, and they take advantage of that multi-million viewership audience, and they have that brand behind them. So when you're watching a Rachel Maddow or Chris Matthews or Ed Schultz, these are people who have millions of viewers, and they are TV news anchors in the eyes of the American people, because there's no disclosure beforehand saying these are just opinions, you know. These people are endorsing a candidate in a way that is totally anathema to what journalism in America is supposed to be. And I would be equally upset if they came out and said they were, you know, rooting for Romney. When you're that influential, you should not be doing that shit. Can you imagine Walter Cronkite if he came out and was like, you know what, I support Nixon, and I believe every man, woman, and child should go out there today and give their support? You'd be like, what the fuck is that, you know?
Yeah.
People would freak out because there were different expectations back then. Expectations that if you were given that amount of power and privilege to inform the American people as to what was going on in this country, you don't abuse that power to just push your guy or your team.
Mm-hmm.
That's like journalism 101. Truly. I mean, you know this, David, but not everyone knows. I went to school for journalism. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism, and that's like the first thing we learn. You have to be completely objective, and it's extremely difficult because humans by nature are subjective, you know. But you have to try to present news in the most unbiased way possible. But it's like journalism has become an absolute disaster over the years.
It's become a business.
Exactly. It's more of a business. You know, you are going to endorse whatever candidate or whoever based on who pays you and who, you know, the advertisements you get that allow you to pay your reporters. And it's really disturbing over the years. And, you know, unfortunately I decided not to go into journalism, but after what I've been seeing since I graduated a couple of years ago, I think maybe it's something that I need to get back into because it's just, like I said, a complete disaster now. And it's just a matter of, you know, I'll say whatever you want me to say as long as you pay me, and that's a complete disgrace to the name of journalism.
Yeah, definitely. I think that also it's all, like you said, it's a business. It's all about money. Like right after Hurricane Sandy, I was seeing all these tweets coming from the official Huffington Post account, which has millions of followers. I think like 2 or 3 million followers. And they were promoting the stupidest articles on their site. Like there was one about Lindsay Lohan's best tweets. Then there was another one about Kim Kardashian, the Kardashian sisters going out on a double date. And this is so insensitive because I was also seeing on my Twitter stream like the Occupy and Anonymous accounts who were telling people where to go to get food and supplies after all these people were just totally wiped out by Sandy. Mm-hmm. And the power was out in New York, and it was a really scary time for a lot of people up there. And Huffington Post, instead of using their massive platform, they were just promoting shit that they you know, was easy to produce and would get them a lot of clicks and ad revenue. And I unfollowed them at that point because I was like, this is just garbage.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate, too, because, you know, the Huffington Post, a lot of people hold in a little bit better regards and high regards than mainstream media. But
well, I think they were bought out, or they merged with AOL recently, so I think once that happened, whatever...
So there you go.
Because they have, you know, they have the trickle-down effect, you know, now their hands are becoming tied more and more.
Well, totally. Now that they're AOL, whatever claims to, you know, independence they had before, they don't now. So it's just going to be chock full of TMZ-style gossip nonsense, because that's extremely easy to produce. It's cheap. You don't have to worry about being sued or, you know, having a whistleblower suit filed by the government against you. It's just garbage. You can put it out in minutes, and millions of people will eat it up.
Yep. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's much more convenient to not cover anything that is of importance.
It's easy. You can just spit it out quickly, and there's no thinking required.
And the fact that people are more they're more willing to follow that sort of stuff.
Because it's easy to understand, that's why.
But it's not real.
The economy is hard to understand. All of this stuff that the presidents or the presidential candidates are talking about or are not talking about are hard to understand. So people will listen to and cling to whatever is easier for them to digest. I mean, they think that gay marriage is a really important issue. Really, it's not. You know, I don't know. I don't understand it, but
Yeah, well, what I find so crazy also about the media right now is they seem to be, they'll attack anybody no matter how credible if that person goes off the tracks and they start criticizing Obama. One example that I pointed out was Jack Welch, who is he's the former CEO of GE, which is still one of the biggest companies in the world and very influential in the U.S. And back when he was CEO, the media loved that guy. I mean, they sucked him off just about. They loved his books, they loved his speeches, they loved his Six Sigma stuff. He was considered like a Bill Gates or a Warren Buffett. He was definitely up there as one of the most revered businessmen in America. And recently he came out and said that the economy is not doing well and Obama has not done a good job with it. That's, the SparkNotes version is that hiring hasn't picked up and companies are afraid to spend more money and, it's an uncertain environment. He's criticizing Obama for not doing the right things. And immediately the media turned on him. There are articles in big publications making the guy out to be a total loon, just a weirdo, Like the former CEO, I don't think the former CEO of GE is exactly some fringe activist, okay?
Yeah,
so maybe they should have taken what he's saying seriously instead of immediately discrediting him and mocking his character.
Let me interject something on that. I was just watching Fox News, and all they're talking about is how they're feeding people that the economy is recovering, and no matter who gets elected, the economy's back. The housing market is increasing. People are getting loans. Blah blah. And you're filling people's heads with this complete fallacies. I mean, it's not real because it isn't back, and just by putting out some numbers that aren't necessarily verified completely, people listen to that stuff and think that it's actually true, and it's completely irresponsible for the news broadcasting networks to be doing that in relation to this gentleman, the CEO of GE. I just thought it was kind of correlated that he's saying everything's bad and TV's saying everything's good. So it's he's an intelligent guy, and him saying that stuff, and now he's being beaten,
Yeah, well, what's so funny is you have Jack Welch, you have Donald Trump, Donald Trump is always controversial. But you have Donald Trump also saying that the economy is horrible, the real unemployment rate is closer to 20%, but the government massages the numbers because they decide who to include and exclude. If you've given up looking for work, they don't include you in these numbers, but you're still unemployed and you're still poor as shit, And
exactly.
So you have Donald Trump, you have Jack Welch, and then we had Steve Wynn, the billionaire out in Las Vegas, who's developed some of the most successful hotel properties in the world, and I think indirectly is led to the hiring of something like 200,000 people. Steve Wynn on a TV interview recently really blasted Obama and was saying that he would do more hiring and more construction and expansion if he felt that there was a more certain footing. A lot of business leaders are uncomfortable with Obama's policies, and you have bloggers on sites like Huffington Post who are paid $40,000 a year, or who are paid nothing in a lot of cases, saying, no, these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. And it's wait a second, these guys are the ones who actually do the hiring, literally do the hiring and build these buildings. So if Steve Wynn is saying the reason why he's not putting up new casinos is because he's worried about what Obama is saying, you have to take that somewhat seriously, even if you don't like Steve Wynn, even if you don't like Donald Trump or Jack Welch.
Yeah, these guys are successful businessmen. They're intelligent. They know that they've been around the block. Like the Donald Trump thing, he's an intelligent guy, no matter what exactly your personal opinion of him. They all built something that, any of us, if we were in their shoes, we would be completely fine with. They're businessmen, and that's their role in life, and they're doing a great job. And their concern raises a lot of red flags for me, personally.
Yeah,
any small
I don't
business
remember.
owner
I don't
in this
remember
day
any
and age
other
is
time.
hard.
I don't remember any other time in my lifetime where the business community has been this opposed to a president. Certainly, I was younger then, but Clinton. I never heard big CEOs coming out and saying that Clinton is, holding the country back. It's really crazy stuff, and people are caught up in this cult of personality. Like you said, they don't seem to realize that the economy is not as good as they say it is. There are 25 million unemployed people in the U.S. right now, at a minimum, 25 million. And do these people just turn on MSNBC and actually believe Rachel Maddow when she says that lending is picked up, banks are lending again and everything's fucking great? And then you go down to a bank and they won't even approve you for like a $2,000 credit line, which is the truth. A lot of people need money to expand their small businesses, and it's not happening.
No, and that's why they're fearful to do things like that. And it's the small businesses are having that problem, and even the large, giant corporations are afraid because it could, nip them in the butt too if something bad happens, with the economy. And the environment right now is not very beneficial, or it's very cloudy, I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah, the other crazy thing that I've noticed a lot on Twitter from Obama apologists, and I'm probably losing listeners right and left here because I'm really kind of digging it in against Obama, but that's the way it goes. These are facts that people should, chew on. When I say things about Obama having signed NDAA into law and having extended the Patriot Act last year when it was supposed to have sunsetted, when I point these things out, people say to me, well, Romney would have done the same thing. And my answer is probably, but he's not the one who did it. It's like that's not the way our justice system works. If you mug somebody out by an ATM machine, the police go after the person who actually mugged you, the person who's in the video. They don't go after somebody 5 blocks away who, in the same exact situation, might have done the same thing. It's totally ludicrous. People are like, why aren't you criticizing Romney equally? And I tell them that I'm definitely telling people that Romney has a lot of the same views. But the fact of the matter is, his signature is not the one that made these things happen. It was Obama's signature. And furthermore, Obama is the one fighting for these things in court. It's not Mitt Romney.
Right.
And, if and when Obama gets elected, or Mitt Romney, but Obama specifically I want to touch on, he's not going to be facing re-election. So he can, therefore, he has the power of pardon. He's going to be pardoning people who shouldn't be. He's going to be using his executive privilege, probably abusing it because he's abused it so far. Why wouldn't it continue? Why wouldn't that trend continue? That's what trends are for, to analyze. And in my opinion, that trend would be it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, what would make you think, based on what's happened in the last 4 years, what would make you think it would be better?
Magically
somehow
better.
Start, following the rules, or it's just not going to happen.
And in no way, shape, or form am I endorsing Romney. I'm just saying it's something to think about. He's not going to have to worry about any sort of campaigning or anything. He has 4 years of office to do whatever the hell he wants.
Right. Well, 2 things. The numbers look like Obama will definitely get a second term. And unless there's some huge factor that all of the polling experts have left out, which there could be. Like evangelicals who don't really have as much of a social media presence, they could come out at the last minute today and really vote in large numbers for Romney, because that hasn't been factored into the calculations at all.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen to any great extent, but it could. And so I'm thinking it's going to be a second term of Obama. And it's really unfortunate that there are people out there so caught up in the cult of personality that they're cheering the very things you just talked about. They're saying it's great, he's going to have a second term, he won't be held by any kind of need to, he has to remain moderate because he needs to worry about getting reelected again. He can just do whatever the hell he wants, and hopefully he'll have a Democratic Senate, a Democratic House, and he can just get everything passed. It's like, you're fucking nuts. That's not our system.
That's insane. That's why there's checks and balances, so people can't do whatever they want.
Exactly. And if you look at the stuff he's done in the first term, these terrible things like signing the NDAA and stepping up our drone strikes on innocent people in Pakistan, which is going to have repercussions down the road. We're creating a whole new generation of people who don't like the United States because we're attacking them with drones for no apparent reason. And that's what it comes down to. And this wasn't covered in the debates. And to allow Obama to do more of this seems crazy to me. And also, people go, well, it was his first term. He's just waiting for the second term. And then he's really going to show what he's all about. And he's going to help us out. And he's going to, pull back the police state. And
maybe he'll give us all a laptop.
Yeah, maybe he'll give us all a laptop. It's delusional is what it is. That's like saying, you have an abusive boyfriend who beats you. But he's just doing that because he knows that once we get married, he's trying to lay the groundwork for that to be a really good marriage, It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. He's already the most powerful elected official in the world. So why isn't he starting to do good things right now,
Yeah.
Why isn't he taking risks right now with the power that he does have? I mean, risks in the right direction, not risks in terms of it's risky to take away our freedoms.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
I just was reading an article today about the whole Romney voting machine thing. I did my homework, so I kind of know a little bit about it. And it is interesting that Romney is directly linked through his companies, through his subsidiaries, to voting machine company. What is it called? Hart Intercivic, the third largest voting machine manufacturer in the country.
I'm starting to think that Romney owns shares in every single company ever. Every article I read about him, it's and Bain Capital was instrumental to Staples expanding and was instrumental to Delphi Auto Parts reorganizing, and they shut down this company and then rebuilt this company. You're like, this guy has his hand in everything.
Yeah, which is good and bad. Both. I mean, the fact that he's a globalist. He's pushing an agenda no matter what. It's just a different style of how he wants to present it.
Well, I've been saying this. This election is really about the battle between big business and big government. And Romney represents big business and big oil. And Obama represents something that I think is equally dangerous, if not a little bit more, which is big government. And big government doesn't have even the illusion of competition to keep it from doing terrible things.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
The big business will pay off the big government. Ultimately, it's the corporations.
It all seems to me to intertwine. It actually drives me insane. I feel like I'm going crazy every day because it's all I can think about. We wake up in the morning and discuss these things over breakfast. I can't remember the last time I just appreciated anything.
It's hard to just relax. It's hard to just let your mind wander. When there's so many important things
because so many people don't even focus at all, so it's our duty to keep paying attention to these things.
Absolutely.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, I found a great free podcast on iTunes the other day. If you search for Meditation Oasis, I think they stopped putting it out a couple of years ago, but they're still online. And there are these good guided meditations. This woman has a really soothing voice, and there's some light background music. And I downloaded a few of these, and I was in bed at night and went through the guided meditation. It's 20 minutes long. And it felt like the first time that I've been able to turn off my brain in probably 3 or 4 months. Where I felt this little spasm of just all of the things that I've been focused on just being temporarily let go. I feel like you need to do something like that. And if you're more... If you know more about this stuff, maybe you take yoga or maybe you go to an actual meditation class instead of just downloading a podcast. But I think you have to do something. You have to turn off the TV and shut down the Twitter for a little bit and just refocus because this shit can drive you crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's just once these start going down the rabbit hole, it's just you look this up, then it connects to this, it links to that, and then you find this, and then you hear this guy, and
also, it's hard to deal with the constant anger because I'll post a link that has some critical information about Obama, and I'm not doing that to hurt his administration or diss his supporters. I'm just doing that because truth should be out there, information should be spread, and we should discuss it. And then people attack me, and I'm you're just shooting the messenger. You're just being an asshole, And the same thing with the Romney supporters. If I say anything critical of Romney, then they're we thought you were, one of the good guys. Now it turns out you're just a fucking mainstream media tool like everybody else. And it's no, I'm just about getting facts out there. We should be American citizens first, not members of a party first. American citizen first, and then a very distant second or third should be your allegiance to the Republican or Democratic Party. I mean, I'm personally an independent, so I don't really care about either. But I don't think you should be living your life based on GOP or Democratic Party leaders, what they tell you to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people do that.
All right, so any final words? I'm going to wrap this up soon because it'd be great to get this out before everybody actually votes.
Yeah. Definitely exercise your right to vote because we still have that right. It's very important, and it is, like you said, it is kind of a choice between big government and big business. Big government is, very bad and has always been historically throughout all the ages of history. When there's that much control and that much ability to control, they're going to abuse it. And then, big business obviously is its own pure evil too. But it's important to get out there, and throwing away your vote doesn't actually exist. If you want to vote for an independent party or a third party, I think that's really important. I think if you really vote for something that you believe in, don't just vote because you want to vote against someone. Vote for what you believe in, whatever that is. If you're really into Jill Stein and her Green New Deal, do it. If that's what makes you, if that's your right, and exercise your right.
Yeah, I like when people say, don't throw your vote away. That's like saying, don't throw your money away by going on a vacation or buying whatever. Like, it's a personal judgment. You have this vote, which is a kind of currency. You can use it however you want, however you feel is going to make the most impact and represent you the best. It doesn't matter if your guy is going to win or not. If we only voted that way, we would see elections where 95% of the people vote for the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter, and I'm hearing a lot of news, quote-unquote news, saying people are going to riot if their candidate doesn't win. So I tweeted about this earlier. Please don't be stupid and go riot or be violent because the person you wanted to win did not win. That's absolutely foolish, and that's going to put everything, going in the wrong direction in our country. If we have hundreds of thousands of people rioting like they say they will. So just please...
Yeah, as Joe Rogan says, don't be a cunt.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't be a cunt.
There are real differences between Romney and Obama, but at the end of the day, these are both choices that have been kind of pre-approved for us. And the more meaningful choices have already been weeded out of the process. Ron Paul actually would have rolled back the TSA and probably turned off warrantless spying on American citizens and some of these other disastrous things. But he was weeded out fairly early on in the process. So we're getting the ones that, our politicians, billionaire benefactors, are okay with. That's what we're choosing from today. Are the ones that our corporate media approves of, and the billionaire backers have given money to. I think over $1.5 billion of money has gone into this election, something like that. It's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I just actually tweeted something, David. You should check it out after. Hold on, I just found this story about this corporate contributor in the 2012 election called Specialty Group Inc. of Tennessee donated over $5 million between October 1st and 11th to Freedom Works for America. But apparently this company was just formed a month ago. Its principal office is in a private home in Knoxville. It has no website. And the only name associated with it is a lawyer whose phone number is disconnected. So it's very shady. A lot of shady things going on. Definitely check it out. Like I said, I just tweeted it recently.
Yeah, we spoke about that the other night, about the whole super PAC thing. It's definitely something maybe to consider in the future for the future elections, that it's a total bizarre, corporations are, allowed to back through anonymous sponsorship,
Yeah. Speaking of tweets, though, please give people your Twitter account so they can shoot you, check out your stuff later on today and shoot you messages.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Mine is Alyssa N. Casey, Alyssa, letter N is in Nicole, Casey.
And mine's at Deep Thought, DPTHOT. Yeah, give us a follow, and we have some insightful stuff on there. We'll follow you back, and would love to continue some good debate and conversations.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in hearing what other people have to say about this. Good or bad, I don't care. I just want to hear what you have to say. So.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, thank you guys so much, and we'll hang out soon.
Yep, definitely.
All right.
We'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, so this is our election special. Want to plug some stuff later on today. You guys know Philip DeFranco. He's one of the top people on YouTube, like 950 million video views, or between his other channel, I think it's over 1 billion. I'm going to be on the network that he's on. It's called SourceFed. I'm going to be on there later on today. I'm going to be going in by Skype to give some election commentary and talking about some of the same things that I talked about on this podcast today. And so definitely check that out. And other than that, be sure to visit our very generous sponsor, creditcardoutlaw.com. Go over to creditcardoutlaw.com today, and you'll see some special offers for listeners at the top of the page. There's the Capital One Venture Rewards card, which is 10,000 bonus air miles. My dad has that card. I would not steer my dad the wrong way. And we also have the Discover More card and a bunch of good American Express offers as well. If you're looking for a better credit card that doesn't gouge you, definitely head over to creditcardoutlaw.com. Thank you for listening, and thank you for all of the people who have just been spreading the word about this. We have been moving up higher and higher on the iTunes charts since I asked people in the last episode to spread the word. Really amazing, and I appreciate it. And I don't know what else to say other than that I'm grateful, and I'm going to continue to use this as a platform to get independent views out there and views that aren't just biased nonsense.